I allow myself to be my best self, to be creative, and to let go. I allow myself to live an elevated life, to stay focused and clear, always moving towards a goal. I allow myself to let go and to learn to live and to grow. I allow myself time and space. I allow. I allow myself to feel, to express myself, and to use the talents that I possess. Yes. Welcome one, welcome all. I allow myself to make love out of the things that are not love. Are you ready, willing, and able? I allow myself to be a creator. To allow yourself. Live in the moment. to make love out of the things that may not be love. Welcome. I allow. Good day to everyone. Wherever you are on the planet, you're in the right place at the right time. It's the right time to allow the sun to rejuvenate us, invigorate us. I almost said revigorate. Is that a word? Revigorate. Let's use that. All the words are made up anyway, right? Let me clean my lens. It looks a little dirty there. Had some sunflower seed juice on it. There we go. Welcome. Wherever you are on the planet, whatever time it is where you are. Glad to see you here. This is a very special time, and this is a very special talk that we're going to have today. I'm going to use several slides to get into this powerful subject. This is about your personal power. If you're here and you're ready and willing to tap into your personal power, then you're in the right place. This particular season that we're in is very important. They're all important, but this one is particularly important, especially this time period we're in between the 3rd and the 9th of July. And we're going to get deep into the significance of this time and the energies of this time. But first, I'd like to thank everybody for being here, for joining in. I'd like to thank all of you who were came to our event that we had over the past weekend. How many of you were at our event that we had? I'd love to know how many of you were in attendance at our core access experience that happened on last Sunday. It was a very, very interesting and beautiful event. And it was a packed house. So I'd like to thank all of you who came and helped to pack the house. And the core access experience is now online. This core access experience has to do with your subconscious and creating a space inside you where you can go and remove some of the luggage, some of the baggage, some of the trash, some of the leftover stuff that we've carried throughout our lives. Some of it isn't even ours. So in this exercise, in this experience, we're able to, as a group, go into the subconscious and remove some of the things that have been holding us back and blocking us. You know, even things that have to do with our love life, our financial life, our health. Everything about us is connected to energy. It's connected to the nervous system. It's connected to the mind. Many illnesses and things are connected to the mind first, connected to the spirit first, or in the energy realm before they solidify into what we call physical events. So if we can go in and help clear out and take some of the load off of our nervous system by offloading some of the toxins and old items, old things, old events down in the subconscious, if we can do that together as a group, it becomes very powerful. And that's what the core access experience is all about. So those who were there, the shift was amazing. It was amazing to watch folks change and let go of things that they may have been holding on for even thousands of years, because even before you physically got here, You came through your ancestry, and part of that epigenetic memory, some of those epigenetic issues, which are now in our tissues, are riding with us. They're riders. So we're now able to using this particular technique to help remove some of that debris, some of that load, some of that heaviness that we carry. All of us carry, no matter who you are, we carry some sort of toxins, either in our physical body, in our etheric bodies, in our nervous system, in our minds. Even if it's only imaginary, we still hold it, and it still has an effect on us. So with the core access experience, we get together as a group, and as a group, we're able to tap into the collective unconscious, or the collective subconscious that we all share, and remove some of these things in this beautiful experience. We are now looking for, searching, or attracting, let's cancel, cut, delete, and clear. We're attracting groups or people, companies, businesses who would like to bring the core access experience to their group, to their town, to your people, wherever we are, we will be there. So let us know. You can go to elevationtime.com, elevationtime.com. Actually, if you go to, let me see, sales at elevationtime.com, and email us at sales@elevationtime.com, and let us know that you'd like to have or be a part of the core access experience in your town. So we're looking for folks who would like to host it, who would like to gift it to their people. It's great for companies and businesses who you'd like all these people to work together for one goal. And that has a lot to do with the subconscious, as far as us putting in our best effort for any goal in life, especially as a group. It can be done with individuals too, but we like to do it as a group, and it just adds to the collective power of everything. Okay. All right. So I'd like to say thank you for all of you being here. We got some special people in the house. If you're here and you know that you're a VIP, you're in the place. If you're not a VIP, you will be. You're on the road. Make sure you're on the road to becoming a very special person, and one who helps to inspire others to be special and helpful. I'd like to know who's here for the first time. If you're here for the first time, please put it in the chat how you found out about it. And we'd like to thank you for being here. And anybody else who'd like to say where they're from. Are you a VIP? Have you been on these chats before? Please put it in the chat. Let us know you're here. I know we have some folks from all over the world, so we'd like to welcome you all over the world in the different time zones for showing up at this particular time. So as we tap in, I'd like to get permission. It's best for us always to wake up and give ourselves permission. We have been, trained to give other people permission. Remember in school, we had to get the permission slip to leave, to go to the bathroom, or to go to the teacher's, the principal's office. Remember that? But we got into giving away our permission and always looking to others to find out if we should do something, looking for validation, asking others, do you think I should do this? Is this good? Do you think I should go? Do you think I should stay? So we give up a lot of our permission. And today, let's give ourselves permission. If not just for today, just for today. Give yourself permission to be here. Give yourself permission to gain something new, to have something in your toolkit that can be useful for the rest of your life. Just allow yourself to give yourself permission. Would that be okay? All right. You can write it down if you want. I give myself permission to be my best. And your best is good enough. And I'd like to ask all of you for permission before we move forward. Is it okay that we share information today that you may have never heard about before, or something new, or something that adds on to what you already know? Is that okay? If that's okay, put yes in the chat room. Is it okay if we make this a little fun? because as you know, sometimes the comedy guides come through Dr. B, the levity guides, and something happens, and you know, and it's beautiful to be able to laugh and have some fun while learning too. It's a wonderful way to learn, and it also helps the information go down much deeper. And it isn't okay if we share some information that may be a little agitating to you, something that may go against some of your beliefs, some of your programming, something that may make you feel a little bit edgy. Is that okay if we go into the edgy part of your mind? Is that okay? Great. Wonderful. So today is what they call July 5th in the Western world. And they say it's 2025, but you're going to hear challenges to that because people all over the world may have totally different viewpoints on what time it really is. Time is a construct that was created by man. I don't think animals and other beings have this time clock that we have. They have one that's based on nature, based on the sun and the movement of the seasons and the stars. But that's a natural time clock. But the strict time clock that we use to give meaning to our lives. Well, it doesn't even give meaning. It actually gives control. That one is a constructed time clock. But yesterday was what they call the 4th of July. And 48 years ago, Dr. B. Sirius, who wasn't Dr. B. Sirius, he was just Brother B, moved from Connecticut to Los Angeles. Dr. B arrived on the 4th of July at 12 noon, 48 years ago. That was 1977. I was leaving Connecticut to go be a famous percussionist, and to make it in this world. How we all have these ideas, we'd like to do something big. And, sometimes it's important to leave where you are and go create something new. And that's what my mindset was at the time, or his mindset, because he is not me. We're totally different people. And all of us have changed over the many years. You're not the person you used to be. So this is a special, special time. We could get into the differences of opinion, but let's just stay focused on one major thing right now. This is the time to arrive. And I had no idea that when I left Connecticut and moved to Los Angeles, I was doing it at a very crucial time on Earth. I was just doing it because it was time to go. I had to go. And I just said, I can't go through another winter. And I remember that last winter when I was in Connecticut was one of the worst, and the birds were frozen to the wires and the squirrels were frozen and everything was frozen. Remember that movie Frozen? It was like everything was frozen. I said, no more. I've got to go to some place where there's more sun, more light. And plus I had a brother out there in California, and he was big in the music business, and I went to go work with him. So during that time, I loaded up all my instruments. As some of you know, I'm a musician, a producer now. It wasn't then. I was only a musician, but I moved to California to go and to find myself in the place of musicians, and ended up becoming more than a musician. And it was that time period, that 4th of July, I was riding a wave. I felt the wave in me, but I didn't know how deep it was. And that's what we're going to talk about today. This wave, this time, this gap, this space, when, there's this energy field that happens, this gate that opens. And some of you know about it, the beginning of the Lion's Gate. I was leaving at a time when the gate was open. It was intuitive just to go, you see. So I am celebrating that every year at this time. That's what I celebrate. On the 4th of July is my independence. Dr. Ward, his, cancel, cut, delete, and clear. His Young B, that's a new name. He can be called Young B. His independence from leaving the place that he lived for many years and grown up and going to a brand new place, and having a new experience. For some of us, that is important, to go someplace, even if it's inside ourselves, to have a new experience. And that's what our experience was this past weekend when many of us did the core access experience. It has to do with creating a new place, because you don't have to leave the physical place that you're at to actually become a new person and create a new place in your mind. Because we're only where we are because we believe that's where we are, and that's what we've, everything is energy. Everything is based on oneness. Everything is made of the same stuff. But it is our mindset that creates the matrix, that creates this system and creates these beliefs and these ideas of who we are and where we are and what time it is. So once we step out of that and know that we could recreate ourselves anywhere, so you don't have to move physically, but mentally and spiritually and energetically, it is important to move and do something called circulate. Circulation is very important. We must always get into our circulation, circulating our dollars, circulating our energy, circulating our mindsets, and not staying stuck, in the same place. And that's also what we call spirituality. Spirituality has to do with spirituality. So you're not going around and around doing the same thing at the same time, at the same place, having the same holidays. You create your own holy days within yourself and expand them and change their definitions. You see? So independence is one of those things that we need to really look at. What does this mean to be independent? How do you become independent? When I left Connecticut, I had no idea what was going to happen. I had to go into the unknown. How many of you have gone into the unknown? The place that we are not familiar. At the point when I landed on that plane, I had no idea that I'd become a record producer, an engineer. I had no idea I'd become a true songwriter. I had no idea that I would become an herbalist and learn about metaphysics and the mind and become a thought leader. I had no idea. I had no idea that one day I could be selected and elected as the spiritual leader. That was deep. That just happened. But when we are focusing on another goal, a higher one, well, just because you've climbed the mountain and you've got a degree, there should be another mountain, another degree, another level. We have to keep climbing. And I had no idea how many challenges I would go through in life, how many winters, how many hard times, good times, relationships. I had no idea when I left Connecticut that I was going into the unknown. And something began to happen when I began to let go. We must be ready to let go of some of our old beliefs. This time period we're in right now is a time of letting go. And I'm going to get deeper into that as we speak. And I'm working on how to deliver this today. And I'm going to use some slides, but also some of this it's hitting right now, this field of energy, and some of us can feel it. It's the time of letting go and focusing on what we truly desire. When I became an herbalist, it wasn't something I was trying to do. It was because I've gotten so deep into the music industry that I became ill. And I realized that my family, I come from one of the largest families in New England, that many of my family members, most of my family members were going through major illnesses. And the doctor said it was running in the family. It runs in the family. It runs in the family. That's what we kept hearing. Well, it's in your blood. It's in your DNA. It's in your genes. We'll talk about that a little later. It's not necessarily in your genes. Certain things might be the way you look, the way you talk, but 89% or more, 98% or more, the numbers vary, of your genes are called junk DNA. And that junk DNA is DNA that's waiting to be programmed by you, your thoughts, your food, your environment, your activities. We can reprogram our DNA. So when I got to California and suddenly I was, you know, learning new things and, becoming a different person, I was retraining and reprogramming my very DNA. I even look different than I used to look because, everything is based on mindset. And my mindset was changing because I let go. Letting go is a heck of a thing. Sometimes we hold on tight to old things, old feelings, old beliefs, old judgments about people, about things. And, if we're not ready to let go, then we stay stuck. Then we're not quite as spiritual because a spiral is constantly expanding and growing. You see? So to be spiritual means to expand and grow your mind, your body, and everything. Everything expanding and growing and letting go and going through the hard times, going through the winters, into the summers, using the highs and the lows as a part of the fuel that moves us to the next thing. Part of the alchemy that must be created by us is us looking at what we're going through, changing it, looking at where we came from, look at some of the habits of our parents and our families. Because a lot of times, if you look at some of these illnesses that run in the family, look at what we eat as a family, what we say as a family, what we believe as a family, the language we all use as a family. And a lot of times you'll notice in many families, the language is the language of disempowerment. It's the language of hardship. It's the language of war. Even the English language, you must be careful because a lot of it is based on war and commerce. And that's why we're warshipping. What do you warship? You're fighting to believe something, fighting others that don't believe in what you believe in. You see, it doesn't have to be a war. We must convert that and change that. Doesn't make any difference what they mean and what they did. It's about what you do and who you are. It's about personal power. So after getting in the music business and becoming extremely successful in the music business, I realized that I was being cultivated. I was being shaped. I was being controlled by the very industry that I worked in. And it became work. It wasn't play anymore. I wasn't playing music. I was working music, doing contracts and signing people. And, it was all about algorithms and who should make it and who shouldn't. And the politics of music became very deep. And I realized it was being controlled. The mainstream music industry is controlled. And a lot of the control has to do with taking away each of our personal power and our ideas to choose. Something that keeps coming on the radio every day, and you keep hearing it, and you begin to sing it. It's like in your mind, because music goes down in between the conscious and the subconscious very deeply. It's a very special thing, music, so it programs us at a deep level, and the music that I was making at that time was not the music that I came from, because I came from jazz. I came from African spiritual music. That's what I was trained in as a percussionist. But I was doing this commercial music, which was okay at first, but then it became more and more controlled by these beings who wanted to create dissonance and disharmony, because it was all about war and commerce and taking and controlling people's minds to get them to believe something, to get them chanting over and over and saying something over and over that they had no idea what it meant. Music is a very powerful thing. You see? Music is what your body is. Everything is based on vibration and sound and frequency. Frequency has to do with how frequently something happens. That's what frequency is. You see? So doing that for many years and becoming very successful, I realized that this was this was not good for me. I started getting very sick, and I got extremely sick to the point where I knew that my life force was leaving. And I didn't know what to do because the doctors basically didn't know what to do. They said, there's nothing you can do. It's like, go handle your business, basically, because you've got a short period of time. That's what they said from their point of view, from their studies and what they believe about a person with my, amount of carbon in my blood and in my skin tone and where I was from. They had a program, a chart, and they had a matrix that they laid me up against and said, well, people like you normally, blah, 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 blah. So, of course, you're not going to make it. I decided to leave the music industry because of the stress and the control factors. And I felt like this was it. And my mother was dealing with a major illness, and I decided I wanted to help her. So I started studying natural medicines, natural foods, natural herbs. I got books, and back then it was VHS videos, and I studied everything I could about nutrition. Everything I could. I had to study herbs and medicines in the Bible, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Quran, and in many of the holy books, and even on some of the tablets, they make references to wholeness and wellness and how to become whole again and balance our bodies, because it's about balance. And a lot of it starts in the brain, starts in the mind, starts in the programming, starts in the language. And if your language is all about how bad it is and how hard it is and how tough it's going to be, and the struggle continues in your language, guess what? You are creating what? You're projecting, you're creating, you're producing an outcome based on your mindset, because it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. What you say over and over and over, you crystallize. It becomes real. What you believe over and over and over, it becomes real. So it's about breaking out and becoming independent from some of those thoughts, breaking out of the cell, which can be, for many of us, almost like a prison. And it's the way we live. That's the way our culture is. That's my family. And some of us, what we call love is kind of twisted, because love is sometimes copycatting or following through with what everybody else did that was not really love to your cells. Your cells were like, you must not love me because you're poisoning me. Why would you eat this? And if if your people had to eat it back at a time, and now you're supposed to be more free, why would you be eating the food that your ancestors here in the North America supposedly were forced to eat? They were forced to eat it. This is not what they ate originally, so they had to season it up. This is why they put, honey on ham. Do you know why they put honey on ham? They put honey on the ham to attract the worms in ham to the surface. And then they put cloves in the ham, because the cloves help to destroy the baby parasites in the eggs of the parasites. Did you know that? That's why they put, the honey baked ham it's like, now it's a treat. You know what I'm saying? Back then it was about survival. This is why they had to put sage in sausage. Sausage is pig, sow, or pork, and sausage, because the sage would kill the parasites, or attempt to kill a lot, not all of them, some of the parasites in the pork, because all pork has parasites. All chicken has parasites. That's that chicken, that's what they call poultry seasoning. Did you know what poultry seasoning was for? Poultry seasoning was put on turkey and chicken to try to kill off some of the bacteria and the parasites in the chicken. Are you aware of that? Now you have that flavor, give me that poultry seasoning. Right around, Thanksgiving, you can't even find any poultry seasoning, because people, they relate now the family and love and the holiday, especially of Thanksgiving, with that poultry seasoning smell. The poultry seasoning was made to attempt to what? Create something out of how should I say? To transform something that could be toxic into something that was edible just to survive. But here we are now, and a lot of people still eat that because they relate that and connect that to love. We must become independent from some of the things that we had to do for survival, and look at who we are right now and what we're going to do, what choices we're going to make that can help us, become our best selves. Are you all hearing what I'm putting down right now? Is this making any sense? So the language, which has, a lot of us use habitually, you have to be very careful with this language, English, to find the words and to find the language syntax that actually is going to help us grow instead of repeating things that actually are taking us further and further down. And in our world, we notice that 80% of the time, folks nowadays are talking about the problems. And they're repeating the problems over and over and over. And that is driving that message deep down into the subconscious. And some of that information that we have picked up is down in the basement of our subconscious, and it's in packages in our subconscious mind. And there's lots of them that we just received from being in a family or being in a country or being in a community. Some of that stuff is trash, and we got to take it out. And that's a lot. That has a lot to do with the core access experience that we now are offering. So our food and everything, right, is based on a lot of times our what we call love and that connection to our family. You see, and we can change that. And this is the time, if you choose to change, this is the time to change and let go of some of those old habits. I was forced to change and let go of some of the old habits that I'd gained from growing up and the terrible habits that I'd gained from the music industry. You know, the more successful you are, the more junk you eat. You know, it's really crazy. You drink more, you eat more, you take more, you try more things. I tried some things that I don't know if I ever came back from. You know, you're at a party and they got this punch, and you drink that, and you don't know that you about to be punched out from now on. You see, but after realizing how deep that music industry was, I left and I studied everything I could about natural health. I didn't get into this for business. I got into this to save my life and to reinvigorate and change myself. And it just happened that I changed so much that people noticed it. They saw my hair grow back because I had splotchy hair. Is that a word, splotchy? I had bad skin because I had really bad acne at one point and black spots all over my face. You know, my tongue was white, had like a fur over it. Some of you know about that furry tongue. And I was extremely ill, and I needed to know what to do because the doctors said there was nothing they could do. And they could only give me medicines to cover up the symptoms, which is what many medicines do. Not all, but many medicines just cover up the symptoms and don't get to the root. And I was working at getting to the root of my personal, or his, cancel, cut, delete, and clear. I keep saying, you know, what I say his name was? B-Boy? what was Little B's name? Anyway, I was working on that, and I worked on it within myself, and I began to play in it. And it became fun, the study, the research, reprogramming my mind around disease and wellness and balance and what it meant to be in a state of equilibrium. Wow. And over a year or two, everything changed. And I was asked by some brother Carl Nelson and brother Jamal, who had a radio show on the Carl Nelson radio show in 1994, to come on and talk about how I went from hip hop to health. And I actually did it. Yeah, Young B. That's his name. Young B. Yo, Young B. Come here, Young B. It's time to eat. Come have some breadfruit. Y'all know about breadfruit? Look that up. Anyway, so after changing my life, I went on the radio, and I was very nervous because as a public speaker, I was not at all. I couldn't even stand up in school and speak, but I began to tell stories and jokes and use voices and all these little cartoons that I'd created in my mind. And that's how I did my radio program. And people loved it. They loved laughing. And I did the sounds. I just started talking about the different illnesses and the different organs and how they had personalities. And that's how Dr. B came to be. So I got into this because I was looking to become independent from illness and help my mother be more comfortable, let her become independent from the illnesses that she was going through. And it helped her a lot. In fact, one of the first products that I created was one called, what's now called Heaven on Earth. You know, and I came up with that for my mother to help her nervous system because she was dealing with what they called MS. But what we really found out later truly was actually mercury poisoning from the fillings in her teeth. They never looked in her mouth. They always just gave her more meds and never looked in her mouth. That's only dentists do that. Your regular doctor's not going to look in your mouth. He doesn't know anything about your mouth and your teeth. You got to go to a specialist. So heaven on earth is for the nervous system. It really helps to balance the nervous system, which is basically where all your personal power exists in your nervous system. And when you begin to cleanse and detox and fast and change, you are rejuvenating your nervous system. And your brain and your nervous system that's like the CEO of your body. That's in charge. Your nervous system is the one that can easily be tipped by certain mindsets, certain thoughts, certain foods. They attack the nervous system, and the nervous system is the one that's got to tell your immune system that there's a problem. So if you grew up talking the language of problems and you think that problems are normal because problems in the family is just how we live, that's how we do it. We're always at another funeral. We're always at another situation, and somebody else went to, it's just a lot of things that we begin to accept as normal. And some of these things are not normal events. They're events that happen because of the way we have been formed as a society. It's about becoming independent from society, breaking away. That's where you find your personal power. Today, we're talking about personal power. Our personal power, our collective personal power, your personal power, independent from anybody else. Not looking for everybody else to agree, because most people, what we're going to talk about today, they won't agree with. Because this was not something they studied in school. This is not something that their doctor's going to talk about. And this subject today actually is controversial for almost all groups of people. Whether they're spiritual, they have a point of view. If they're into horoscope, if they're astronomers or astrologers, scientists, this piece of information that we're going to cover today is one of those that's even hard, or I shouldn't say it's hard, it's challenging to even find information on it. Why? Anything that has to do with personal independence and gaining power and breaking out of the prison of the mind, the prison that some of us are in society, because they are like prisons. It's like sheep. People are like sheeple. They're in pens and they're locked in a fence. And sometimes you don't even have to have the fence up for people just to stick together and believe what they believe, even though the fence is down. That's the sheeple effect, because people have been programmed. So we have to be gentle and be more caring when we're talking about other people and how they don't change. Because a lot of times you get new information and you become conscious. There we go. Conscious. That's quantumly conscious. Conscious. Write that down, y'all. New word. Conscious. So we have the conscious people. Then we have the quantum conscious people. Conscious. Is that the word? Is that how I said it? The conscious people. And we sometimes begin to judge other people who didn't get the message we got, or who haven't read the same book, or eat the same diet, wear the same clothes. It becomes a thing where we start pointing the finger. You see, you become like a zealot. Remember the religious zealot? They believe what they believe and they'd kill everybody else. That's one thing I had issues with in church. Why? What's this song about onward Christian soldiers marching on to war with the cross of Jesus marching on before? That always messed with me. I thought Jesus was about love and peace. We're going to fight these people because they don't believe in what we believe? I don't know if that was the origins of these. Yeah, I think that has to do with something else. It has to do with politics. It has to do with social engineering to get us to believe that we need to fight people that we don't understand. Then they call that, xenophobia. If you don't understand other people, or if they don't go along with you, they're bad. They must be the enemy. They must be devils. They must be pagans. What is a pagan? I bet most folks here don't even. I bet. Ain't that a good one? I bet. What does that mean? I'll gamble. No, a lot of folks. Let me just change that. Cancel, cut, delete, and clear. Got to self-correct constantly. Nobody's perfect. But a lot of us have no idea what it means to be a pagan or what it meant. You see? It's deep. So we also must be ready to become independent from a lot of the things we were made to believe, even in what we call consciousness. Even if you look something up on Google, the new thing is AI is telling you. I saw where a guy was talking to AI about God, and AI was telling the man about God. This was a post on IG. Did y'all see this? How does AI know about God, which is unknowable, unseeable? You can't even, your brain and your mind can't even conceive what the prime creator could possibly be. But AI knows everything. All it did was scrape the internet. So if it was written down on the internet or in some book that's on the internet, that's all it did. It doesn't know. It knows the stuff, the collective consciousness of man or woman, or whoever programmed. That's not necessarily the truth and the only way it is. There's knowledge that you have, and there's analog algorithms in you that you're never going to find in AI. No robot can do it. Yeah, I know. There's people right now that are making songs and everything with AI. All you got to do is talk to your computer and tell it what kind of song you want. And all of a sudden it has the beat, and then you could type in the lyrics and pick a voice, and it's singing, and you think that that's something, but it has no soul. What kind of world would it be if we just want everything microwaved and fast? Look what the microwave has done to people. Look how many people are having issues with their glandular system because of microwaves. Look, cancer. Where do you think a lot of this stuff is coming from? It comes from us using things, right, to make it easy, to make it quick. Because, you might not want to boil some water, which might take 7 minutes. You need your water done in 2 minutes or 1 minute, instantly. With a nuclear device, you're going to nuke your food. It's ready quick. I remember when they came out with cake in a box. And we were at some event, some family event. And I think it was one of my cousins. They were supposed to bring a cake. And they brought this Duncan Behinds or somebody's cake. And it was in a box. It had been made in a box. And, they put it on the table. You know what I'm saying? And I remember one of my aunts said, you could tell that that's a cake that they made in a microwave box. That's a box cake. Back then, this was a problem. You done came to a family event, a soul event, an event of real love, and you got something made in a box that all you had to do was pour water in. And poof, you had a cake. We were happy with that. No one ate that cake. In fact, they pulled her to the side. And don't you ever come to a family event like this again. We make cake from scratch. If you want mama's recipes, we'll give them to you. But a lot of folks don't, today, they're so used to pushing a button. They don't want to do what it takes to get there. If you don't want to do if you don't want to do what it takes to get there, then you're a part of the new world, which is being programmed. And that's okay. If you want to have a polyester mindset, that's okay. Pretty soon people are going to have a brain made out of styrofoam. It's okay if you choose that. I'm not going to fight you. If you like AI and AI is in all your business and you like talking into the phone constantly and telling it to tell you things, then that's okay. What I'm saying is you got to focus on your business and what you're doing and get out of the lane that everybody else is being forced into. They're not even being forced. They're being coerced because they believe it. It's easier. AI is going to be everything. You ain't going to be able to have no job without AI. Let me tell you some jobs AI ain't going to never be able to do. You heard the new project that I have out right now, the Sonic Immersion 3 Introspection. How many of y'all have checked that out on YouTube? Go check it out. You think AI can do that? That's total improvisation happening in real time. That's soul. You see? Soul is something that you cannot create. That's the power of creation within us. We all have that. You're going to let that go so that you could just be, make a cake in a box, make a song in a box. Do anything just in the box. Push a couple prompts on the computer and boom, you got it. That's what the problem is. That's why a lot of us moved in, from our communities and our villages and moved into the city. And now we go to the mall to buy everything with somebody else's logo on it. Why do we buy somebody else's logo? We pay to wear somebody else's advertisement. We pay them. And some of these advertisements are big. You paid $1,000 to walk around as a billboard for somebody else. That's okay if you do it, but why not do that for yourself? Why not do that for yourself? The folks that are doing it, let them do it. Because you spend a lot of time and energy trying to convince people that have been convinced to be sheeple, not to be sheeple. Today, at this particular time, let's become independent. They say this is the time of independence. Become independent from some of these old ways, some old ways of eating and thinking. Let's become independent of a world that's based on parasites. What do you mean, Doc? Yeah, parasites, are beings that live in or on another being or around another being and use that being as a host. That's what a parasite is. Some of your friends are parasites. Some of your family's parasites. Some of us are parasites to our own self. We eat our own selves alive. We sabotage our own best efforts to grow. How many of you have been involved in self-sabotage? Well, now is the time to become independent from that mindset, and you can do it in an instant. My highest choice is that today, after we learn this information, that you become independent from the place that you started. Even in your own mind, even in the way you woke up today, just giving yourself permission is about giving yourself what? Independent thought to let the real sun shine through you. A lot of folks are letting the sun shine on them, but which sun? There's many suns. There's not just one sun in the sky. There's the one that you see and you feel based on your perception. Yes, that's a whole deep thing. Everything is based on your perception, the way you see it, the way you've been programmed, the way your subconscious and your conscious and the superconscious within you comes together at this particular time, taking the beliefs and the feelings from our ancestors, which have been handed down to us like old raggedy clothes with holes in them. We keep taking this stuff and we believe it because it's given to us. It's free. It's free. It's free. Get one free. Get three free. Buy one, get 100 free. We want this thing about free because a lot of us, we've gotten to a place where we don't want to work for it. We want to push a button. We want a cake, a whole meal in a box. I remember these girls made me and my friend Thanksgiving meal, right? And they had been trying to talk to us for months and months and months because we were big time record producers and they wanted to hook up with the big time record producers and get some of the, the whatever they thought they could get from the big time record producers. So they cooked a Thanksgiving meal for us in microwaves. There was 2 plates of everything cooked in a microwave. I remember when we went to the house, I said, man, I don't smell no poultry seasoning. I don't smell no gravy. Don't smell like nothing been cooked up in here. I can't smell the collard greens. And I heard this ding. And I heard them both say at the same time, dinner's ready. And they both came out with these little hostess outfits on. This was funny. I hope if my old partner is listening right now, I know he's cracking up. They came out with these little hostess type outfits on with little turkeys and things on them, right? Symbols. And they gave us these meals. And it was microwave. The whole meal was microwaved. Everything was kind of sweating and vibrating with this energy. And it was sitting on this aluminum pan. I looked at my partner and I said, listen, man, I'm going down to the car. I forgot something. Maybe you should come out in a few minutes too. So I left and went to the car. A few minutes later, he came out. We jumped in the car. It hit the gas. It's no way we could stay in here and go along with this. We weren't even going to be nice. You're talking about being nice. Look that word up. Look up the etymology of the word nice. No, I'm not with it. You love me, but you're going to do something that's going to hurt me. Watch that word love. I love you, but we're going to catch you in a cage and keep you wrapped up. I love you if. I love you only if. See, that's that transactional love. You got to be careful. Let's begin the journey of letting go of what was and step into this new time in 2025. Never mind what they're telling you is going on and all the stress in the news. There's something happening that is not in the news, and it's happening right now. Okay, are we all right? Can we move forward? Let me have a little tea And we're going to move into the next section of this talk about personal power and the connection between Sirius, the sun, the earth, our solar plexus, and our personal power. Is this good or is this good? For those of you who are just joining, they call me, or they call we Dr. B Sirius. The website is elevationtime.com, elevationtime.com. Please go there and join our email list and check out many of the products and services that we offer at elevationtime.com. And congratulations for you and all of you for being here today. All right. So let's do it like this. Everybody all right? Is everybody all right? Good. Uh-oh. Why is my slide not showing up correctly? Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Let me get rid of the media assets. There we go. Now we can read the slide. Sirius connections. The star Sirius is also called Alpha Canis Majoris, or the dog star, is the biggest star in the night sky and considered the son of the sun. It is blue and white. It is a blue-white binary star in the constellation of Canis Major. It is 25.4 times brighter than our sun, also known by its Latin name, Solaris. So our sun's old Latin name is Solaris. Okay. Every year on the 3rd through the 9th, our sun is in conjunction with Sirius, our spiritual sun, associated with liberation. Astronomers call this the Alpheon, or Alpheon. Sirius is considered the sacred star of Auset, or the Greek name Isis, the goddess of divine feminine. According to the ancient teachings, the concept of freedom resides in human consciousness because of the influence of this star system. Sirius appears from approximately every 70 days. When she reappears in the eastern sunrise, this was known as the heliacal rising of Sirius. This is the moment of rebirth of land, but also within ourselves. There's a word missing here. Huh? For when Sirius rose, she brought with her flooding of the Nile. So Egypt itself was reborn, Egypt or Kemet. Added to this, her rising was thought to be the beginning of the year in ancient Egypt. So you can see her significance even to us now. She talks to our inner cleansing and rebirth. In esoteric philosophy, get my words together. In esoteric philosophy, we are told that Sirius is the source of divine wisdom and high frequency intelligence on Earth. You hear that? In esoteric philosophy, we are told that Sirius is the source of divine wisdom and high frequency intelligence on Earth. Our sun is the illuminator of the physical world, whereas Sirius is the illuminator of the spiritual world. It has long been revered by many ancient cultures like the Dogons, the Sumerians, the Mayans, ancient Kemet, and has been known to bring the energies of higher consciousness, independence, abundance, fertility, and rebirth. The bright light of Sirius offers insight, intuitive intelligence that is essential to augment our way of being. Indigenous civilizations saw the alignment of the sun, Sirius, and Gaia, which is our Earth, as a signifier of illumination at a time when light and truth is shed on the earth. This light is said to bring about a rebirth for all life on Mother Earth. The alchemical properties of Sirius have the ability to change our DNA and cause us to undergo a type of evolution. This is happening now. When the Sirius star and the sun and the earth align from the 3rd to the 9th of July each year, which is right now, right? The energy of Sirius light waves combine with the sun, becoming intense, which greatly influences the planet Earth on a significant level. Earth's sun being in Cancer at this time symbolizes a time of intuitive reflection and nourishment. The sun in Cancer represents a time where we can connect with our emotions and transform them into spiritual enlightenment. The beginning of July becomes a powerful and potent time for making conscious changes, spiritual advancements, and bringing new insights into the world. The principle of liberation and independence is closely associated with the consciousness of Sirius. It governs the limitation. It governs initiations, which we as humans in our evolution. It governs initiations which we reach as humans in our evolution. This is an incredible time. This incredible time aligns us with spirit instead of material, and evokes unity versus duality. Look at this. On the right, you have Sirius. Notice it is more than 20 times bigger than our sun. The light of it does not shine very brightly in our sky, but you can see it at night. And it's the star that for some of us blinks red and white and sometimes blue, but it's the twinkle, twinkle, twinkle little star. How I wonder what you are. That is that star. It has a lot to do with what happens on Earth. Earlier, I said there are many groups of people who don't agree that Sirius affects us. Just know that our sun spirals around Sirius. So how our Earth spirals around the sun, right? Our sun spirals around Sirius. That means that is our mother sun. It's like our center. It's and considered our spiritual source. It has a lot to do with the energy of our sun because they're connected. So when Sirius, now if you look at let's go all the way to the left of this. You see the Earth. During the aphelion, the Earth is the farthest from the sun. So right now we're in that. The Earth is the farthest from the sun, which is now in July. The perihelion, right? The sun and the Earth are the closest. That's around January 4th or the beginning of January. And these numbers are not exact. They change and fluctuate every year. So at the aphelion, which is right now, the Earth is the farthest from the sun. So if you look up aphelion, you're going to see lots of references to that on the internet. You see, even though it's hot, you would say, well, wait a minute. Well, why is it hotter? Because this, what we're talking about is has nothing to do with heat. It has to do with energy. It has to do with waves, quantum waves and cosmic waves and the way they move. So let's look at now. The sun is in the middle of this page. The Earth is in the position to the left right now. And the position in the right is Sirius. So Sirius's energy is now shining very brightly directly on the sun. It always is, actually. But it's just that right now, the sun is in alignment with the earth, and it makes this tangent line, this direct line of energy from Sirius superimposing the sun's energy. Then that superimposed light energy hits the earth, right? Which is this summertime energy. This heat has to do with the combination of the two suns, right? Sirius and our sun, right? That energy hitting the earth. It's intense. It's intense. During this time, you have certain storms that are popping up, certain weather changes that pop up, sometimes earthquakes and movements. The ocean acts different because this is a time of intensified energy, right? From the Sirius's waves, right, hitting the sun, superimposing the energy of the sun, that energy superimposing and heating up the earth. And those waves of energy right now are at their highest. This is between the 3rd and the 9th of July. Now, some references are going to say, Dr. B, you're not right. It's actually the 2nd through the 7th. You see, we have to be careful because nothing cosmic, nothing happening with the stars is exact. There's always a bit of course correction or change, or things are never the same. Things are expanding and contracting. Nothing in nature is exactly the same all the time. That's your computer and your AI that's doing the exact same thing every time, or the life that you choose where you're doing the exact same thing every day, all the time, thinking the same thoughts, eating the same foods, acting the same way. That is a program. That's artificial intelligence. When we get into the natural flow, then things must always be improvising. Improvisation. Is that a new word? Improvisation has always got to happen for us to change and grow. The trees, the plants, they're not in the same position. Their leaves are never in the same position. They're always changing and growing. Our personal power is connected to our power to change. Expanding our mindset, becoming more spiritual, has to do with us being open to that and not being so closed and not asking everybody else for their opinion of what's happening. If you feel it, then you feel it. Close your mouth, mind your business, and business your mind. Is this good or is this good? So just keep this in mind. Now, in the winter or in January, notice that Sirius is in alignment with the earth. So the Sirius's energy is hitting the earth, and then it hits the sun. Right now, it's extremely powerful because the sequence is the Sirius. That energy combines and condenses and projects the sun, which expands the sun, and that energy is hitting the earth. What's that got to do with me, Dr. B? A lot. Inside of you, in each of us, we have a sun. Did you know this? Your solar plexus is a sun. That's why it's called solar plexus. It's the largest bundle of nerves in the body. That bundle of nerve, they glow from the light, from the energy, the electricity. They're bioluminescent. Your gut becomes bioluminescent when it's being charged. That's the combination between your intestines and your nervous system. The friendly bacteria, the microbiome in your gut, right? They come online. Everything connects together in the gut. That's why the gut feeling is so important. And a lot of us, we have to get back to that gut feeling and not doubting the gut feeling and giving situations the benefit of the doubt. Your gut told you one thing, but you're going to go against that with your head and say, well, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Your gut was telling you this thing here is probably not going to work out because your gut knows, because your gut is connected to the environment. The cosmos is connected to your world, your gut. Your feeling is in your gut. That is third chakra. Here it's called the Manipura chakra, the third chakra, the solar plexus chakra. Location between the navel and the solar plexus. Basic issues: power, self-esteem, strength. The color is yellow. The mantra is Ram, Ram. And when you say you can actually feel your third chakra vibrate. Ram. If your third chakra is balanced, you feel energy, strength, confidence, strong will, mental balance, health. Did I say confidence twice? Yeah. And you're active. Actually, this is not mine, so they wrote it twice. Confidence is very important. Some would call that courage. And it takes courage and confidence sometimes to break away from the old ways and the old habits and old friends and old ways of living and old foods that we ate and things that are weighing us down, that are like boxes of junk and cargo down in our subconscious basement that are affecting everything we do. So it's important to focus on that confidence, and creating confidence and activating this particular chakra will help do that. If this chakra is unbalanced, you will feel guilty. How many of you have unresolved guilt that's been in you for so long? Lack of energy. You're just tired of being tired. Weakness. You just fold to everything. Oh God, I can't. And it's only me. And what do I know? And they told me I need to. And you just don't feel powerful. Your body doesn't feel powerful. Your mind doesn't feel strong because you are programmed. And a lot of times that programming is where you become like, just you do everything for everybody. Chronic servitude syndrome comes online. You got to help everyone. Everybody needs help. So you got to be there like the ambulance. They didn't even ask for help a lot of times. But what about you? I'm saying put yourself first. I'm not saying that don't help others. But what about you? Let's help ourselves first. Let's be more self-caring. And sometimes we got to be selfish just for a minute. That's that vacation. If you've gone on a vacation and you're out vacating and you're still bringing all the trash, all the ideas and all the problems from the regular world with you, you're not vacating. And if you're with people who got issues and all they want to do is be out in the woods in the cabin by the river talking about drama that happened in the city, man, you with the wrong folks, or girl, or they, or whatever. You with the wrong people. That's why sometimes we have to go and vacate. That means to vacate, to leave it all alone for a minute so we can recharge and become independent from the drama world. Whew. So if unbalanced, we feel guilty, lack of energy, weakness, allergies. Some folks are allergic to themselves. Some folks are not allergic to something outside of them. They're allergic to the way they are now versus the way they were originally. Your original self, right, will become allergic to the false self, the AI self, the fake you, the one that's been putting all the fake up on and makeup and fixing your profile to look a certain way, act a certain way for others so you can appear to be a certain way. You ever have a friend and they seem to be incredibly great, oh my God, or relatives, or you meet somebody and they're just amazing. Then you go to their house and there's so much disorder in their house. The feng shui is off. The energy is off. The garbage ain't been taken out. Hold on, I forgot to take the garbage out last night. Well, how often do you forget to take the garbage out? A lot of folks forget to take the garbage on, or they put something down in the sink and don't turn on the garbage disposal to get it out of there, and pour some baking soda down in your garbage disposal. Did you know you're supposed to pour a little baking soda in your garbage disposal? Help to freshen things. In fact, get boxes of baking soda for everything, because it'll help pull some of those toxins out your body. Put it in the bathtub, sometimes in the shower, rub yourself down, and that helps your body take more light. Take more light. It's about receiving more light. Fatigue. You're just burned out. You can't wait to get home and go to bed. You're just always tired. Always tired. You burn out. You go to church and come home tired. Go to school, come home tired. Go to work, come home tired. Go play, come home tired. 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 Sometimes that tired is not just a physical tired. It's a mental, spiritual, energetic tired and fatigue. Low self-esteem. Think about that. How many of us have low self-esteem and why? What happened? What was they used to say? What had happened? What had happened? A whole lot happened to a lot of us. A whole lot of us, we grew up in a situation that, you know, it was all about being conquered. Even in our families, a lot of times what you did, you felt conquered. You had to do under duress. You got to do this and believe this and pray to this and vote for this under duress. You better. Because that's what our family may have thought was best, but that may have not been what was best for you. You see? And that's one thing about abuse. A lot of people who've been abused for long periods of time, they now accept abuse. They expect abuse. There are people that actually would call love abuse because the people that love them may have abused them. And now that's their symbol. And that's what they think love is. Unless you abuse them and treat them a certain way, they don't feel loved. That's a program that can be broken. It will be broken when you're ready. You must first realize that that's an issue. That what you're calling love and connection is abuse. So now you may have low self-esteem because of the chronic abuse in your life, even you abusing yourself. So you don't feel great. You don't feel strong. You don't feel powerful. You don't feel like you can. You're always asking other people for their opinions. Always looking for approval from others instead of becoming self-approved. And that has a lot to do with giving ourselves permission once again. You see? So think about that for a minute. Are you feeling that? And are you ready to begin to work that out of your system? And what about worthlessness? What about worthlessness? A lot of people don't know their worth. What is their value? Even financially. What is your financial value? What are you worth? They talk about that in life insurance. You know, what is your worth? A lot of folks don't know. I think it has to do with 3 times the amount of something that you make or something like that. I can't remember the formula, but what are you worth? And who chooses what you're worth? You may feel worthlessness because that's what you were programmed to feel and believe. You may not give yourself much value because you weren't able to realize and recognize the true value and the uniqueness in you. It's not your fault. But if you're there, let's say that's where we are. I'm ready to work that out. Digestion. Third chakra has a lot to do with digestion. See, the digestive tract is a filter. I'm going to say it again. The digestive tract is a filter. Whatever you eat, your digestive tract filters it. It takes the solid waste, sends that to the colon. It takes the liquid and sends that to the blood. Does that hold any value with you? Does that hit it? When I first heard this, it hit deep. No matter how much you eat, people say, well, you know, where you're getting your protein from? So you eat that big, thick steak or whatever because you feel like you need protein from animals or whatever. Okay. All your body does is squeeze it and 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 squeeze the juice out. What you could do is take your products and put them in a juicer, everything, the meat and all, and juice it. Because, you know, it takes 80% of your body's energy to digest. So let's save that 80% and juice everything. Get that steak and, that whole Thanksgiving meal and that barbecue ribs that some folks are still eating. Put them in the juicer. Juice them. And drink that. Did you know you'll have, excuse me. I choked on myself there. This is funny. I'm trying to be serious, but I can't. Your body is a juicer. So if you can have something that's already juiced, then you don't have to digest it very much. It just kind of flows through the system and into the blood. But it takes 80% of your body's energy to digest. A lot of the foods that folks are eating is indigestible waste. It might taste good. It may look good. You may be used to eating it because this is what we eating. This is what we've been eating. This is what my family eats. And this is my favorite thing. Just know that some of it cannot be digested. That means that your body can't do anything with it. There's no juice that's any good in it. And just think of all the dry foods people eat, the chips and all that we love. I still am trying to break the habit of chips. Chips is something about chips, that grease and that potato. When water hits the grease in the potato starch, it creates a chemical. Yeah, same thing that you put on your fingernails. It's acrylamide. Look it up, acrylamide. That's when you take animal products or starch, which both have water in them, throw it in that hot grease, and this transmutation happens, and you have now made a chemical acrylic called acrylamide. You could paint your fingernails with that. You could paint. It's like varnish, but it tastes good. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about chips right now. Man, I can't wait till I finish this thing to go get some chips. Fortunately, I don't have chips. If I don't have chips at the house, I'm probably not going to put on my house shoes and go up to the store to get chips. But I do see a lot of folks, and it's really funny, a lot of folks in line have lots of chips, and they have house shoes on in a hair net. What is this? You got beer and chips, hair net, and slippers. I have gone to the store with my house slippers on. That's when you really you ain't put on shoes and socks. This is a habit. Because if you take time to put on shoes and socks, that give you time to have a grace period to say, what do I really need those chips? Do I really need to go to the barbecue tomorrow and eat pork ribs? Oh, no, they're healthy. These are beef ribs. Oh, they're healthier, huh? You think that's really for you? And maybe it is. Maybe you're supposed to be a carnivore. Maybe you got the teeth of a fox. Maybe you can, you have the ability to go rip an animal down and rip it open. All of these things affect digestion. But digestion also has to do with, on an energetic mental level, what you should take in as nutrition and what you should send out as waste. So when we talk about the third chakra with digestion, is not just dealing with the digesting or the trying to or attempting to digest the indigestible foods, is what happens when we have a third chakra, because we're always hungry when it's out of balance. But we're also having an issue with energetic or mental or spiritual or conscious digestion. Knowing that this information or this habit or this way is not for me. You're taking it in. You're taking in these words. Some people are listening right now saying, this Dr. B stuff, this ain't for me. So don't digest it. Hang up. But some of us are saying, wow, this is great. I need, I got to go get a Snickers bar because I'm hungry. This stuff sounds good, Doc. It's entertainment. It is. But what are you eating? And is what you're eating you? What are you listening to? Who are you believing? What rituals and ceremonies are you involved in that you don't even know you're involved in? What are you digesting? What are you taking in? Because the digestive tract is a filter. So there's a physical filter in your body, but there's also a mental filter, which sometimes has to be cleaned out, like the filter in your car and the filter in your air conditioning. It gets full of toxins. And those are old ideas, old ways, old beliefs, leftovers, hand-me-downs. Sometimes it's crap that you got to clean out so that you can become independent and take up this energy of this sun. Liver problems. One thing you need to know about the liver is, number one, the liver is it's the most important organ in the body. That's why they call it the liver. It's got to filter so many things. It's another filter. In fact, almost every gland, almost every part of your body is a filter. We're a big filter. Sometimes you got to clean out the filters. The liver emotionally also will hold on to anger. That's a liver issue. Anger, angry all the time, chronically angry. Up in the morning, as soon as you wake up, first you're okay because for the first 11 seconds or so, you don't know who you are. Then all of a sudden, that's right. You go to the closet and you get all your BS out. I'm mad at the world, mad at the government, mad at the president, mad at everything. No matter who the president is, people are mad. I don't care. And look at those people, the damn fireworks, and they're making me sick, and they're just mad. They only want to talk about angry things. And if you are talking about the problem, right? If you're talking about problems 80% of the time, then you're done. Your ship is out of control. You're the captain of a junk ship, of a garbage trawler. They got these boats that drag the trash out to the ocean. They're garbage trawlers. Every once in a while, you got to dump your trash. Otherwise, that liver is going to take on all the anger. And a lot of us are angry about all kinds of stuff. Well, we got a long list. You know how long my list was when I looked at this? It just hit me recently how angry I was about a lot of stuff. Dr. B, you're funny. You're not angry. Oh, shit. I've kind of worked out some things, but if you want my list of what he, right, was angry about, it's a lot of things. You know, we could go from what we think about, you know, the oppression, you know, and all that stuff we've been through, and then sexism and, you know, the stuff we learned in school, which was a lot of it was trash, and it had to do with programming us to just get jobs and to just, you know, sit there and work in a manufacturing lab and just work for some company and never be an entrepreneur. How come they don't have entrepreneurial schools anymore, like trade schools? They do. You got to go find them, though. A trade school. You could take one course and have a career for the rest of your life, or one class. You see? So a lot of us have anger issues, and those anger issues, until they're released and resolved, causes a liver issue, which causes a digestion issue, because the liver makes many of the enzymes that help to break down food. Yes, along with the pancreas. You know, all the organs, our livers, we are great filters. We're filters. You're filtering everything. You see? We're filtering everything. But you get a chance to clean it all up right now. So, why is Independence Day in what we call North America on the 4th of July? When I was in school, I remember them talking about when Washington defeated the British, and it was wintertime. In fact, people were frozen on the Potomac River. It was winter. And that was the time we became independent, by winning that war. It was winter. Now, maybe later on, they created some proclamations and wrote up some paperwork and some, you know, they always have these proclamations and stuff they write up to declare it this particular day, and this is it, what it is. But why the 4th of July? And why are several of the major companies, countries, celebrating their independence between the 3rd and the 9th of July? Have you thought about this? Everybody agreed that this is the best time to do it? Because naturally, when the sun is in the position to receive this special energy wave from Sirius, and the Earth is in a special position to receive that energy from our sun, there is this alignment. Some people want to call it a conjunction. Some folks will argue it's not an alignment, it's not a conjunction. Listen, let go for a minute. When this energy happens, this wave of powerful energy between the 3rd and the 9th of July, our solar plexus, which is like a battery, becomes recharged. That's like your battery. That's like your light. That's like your lighthouse deep in your gut. And keep in mind, more information travels from your gut to your brain than from your brain to your gut. Are you aware of that? Your gut is technically your first brain. Your cranial brain came second. And it's so big because people had to learn how to survive, and they had to figure out and calculate where to grow food because the food wasn't growing where it was and the river dried up. So we got to figure out how to survive. So we need tools. We got to do all these things. We got to be thinking. But before that, it wasn't about thinking because the food just grew. Herbs and plants and fruits were just right there hanging on the tree. Most of us, not everybody, but most people lived in a place where, everything was plentiful around the equator. You didn't have to do any thinking. You had to figure nothing out. Nobody's going to steal from you. Who would steal? Steal? Why would you do something like that when everything is free? Just go ahead and have it. There weren't all these contracts and agreements and all that. Look, let's just have an agreement with Mama, with Great Earth. Throw our seeds and spit them out and poop them out back to the earth so more things would grow. Use what we have as a village. But when you begin to move out of the village and you begin to make these cities and these towns, all of a sudden now, you've got to be fed by somebody. Somebody brings you your food. Somebody brings you everything, your materials. Everything is brought in. And someone could decide how to filter that information and bring you only things that you can use for a short time. Right? Planned obsolescence. Let's give them some stuff, make it not last that long, make it break down so they can come back to us. Give them some plants with no fruits, with no seeds, so they got to come back to us. This is some pimpery. Is that a word? Pimpery? So a part of independence is going to be stuff, us beginning to take things like seeds and things like that and begin to plant them again. You can find seeds online. So we can plant some things and have something growing for ourselves, or, community gardens are beginning to be big. And there's more and more people beginning to farm again and work the land again. Why? Because we're becoming independent. We're going to have to, because you can't keep waiting on Big Papa to give you stuff because Papa's drunk. Uncle Sam is drunk and full of themselves. So you got to find the relative parts of yourself and wake that up. Become independent. Right now, because the Sirius, the sun, and the earth are in perfect alignment, you can use that energy to what? Recharge your solar plexus. And it's not hard to do. And if you get enough of that energy, all of a sudden your solar plexus will begin to become balanced because you're changing, you're refueling yourself. A lot of times, the reason why you're at the disagreeable or the opposite flow of energy in your solar plexus is because the lack of light, the lack of friendly bacteria, the lack of friendly food. That's a good one. Friendly food. Please write that in the chat. Dr. B has a new name for healthy food, friendly food. Because a lot of our food is eating us. Friendly foods. Foods that easily digest and are going to give you energy. The sun is attempting to give you energy every single day, but you got to get out and get it. Putting your naked feet on the ground helps that energy, transmute through your head, through all of your systems, right into your feet, into the earth. And that earth energy begins to send a pulse code back up into cosmos. Now you are allowing the Father Sky and the Mother Earth to make love inside you, creating heaven on earth. This begins the process of waking up from a long sleep. Let's not sit here and talk about why it happened and who did it and blame and just get angry, because then we become victims and we vote victocrat. Are you aware that scientists in the past said that only 2% of our DNA was online and working? And they also thought that 98% of our DNA was junk DNA until now. Now it's fully programmable by your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Are you aware of that? What do you desire? Focus on what you desire instead of talking about all the things that you in no way desire. That's the beginning. A telomere is a region of repetitive DNA sequences at the end of a chromosome. Telomeres protect the end of the chromosomes from becoming frayed or tangled. Each time a cell divides, the telomeres become slightly shorter. Eventually, they become so short that the cell can no longer divide successfully and the cell dies. Telomeres are like little telephones. They're like antennas picking up information and telling your cells, your genes, your DNA, what's going on the outside. If the environment seems to be, uninhabitable, it's not safe, it's not good, it's not pleasurable, then you begin to break off these telomeres. And when the telomeres break off after time, they don't rejuvenate the cells. The cells cannot repeat themselves. They cannot complete themselves. They can't make new healthy cells. The telomeres are so important. This whole book's on telomeres. What's the book called? Where's my book about the telomeres? I usually have it right here, but today it could be hiding. The telomere effect. The telomere effect. Hold on. Here it is. Can y'all see that? It might be a little blurry. The Telomere Effect by Elizabeth Blackburn and Elissa Eppel. Elizabeth Blackburn and Elissa Eppel. The Telomere Effect. Very important book. So your telomeres have a lot to do with who you are, who you're becoming, and it has to do with your life force. What is your life expectation? They're always talking about life expectancy. Like, there's this life expectancy on some graph that people came up with. No, it's about what you expect. And you expect what you keep talking about. And you attract what you keep talking about and focusing on. And the habits that you have are attracting more of what you're doing and being. That has to do with the reticular activating system. There's a video that Dr. Mahdi, a course actually, that Dr. Mahdi and I did, which is at elevationtime.com. It's called Soulful Transformation. It's a series of 3 classes. Soulful Transformation. I can't remember the second part of the title, but it's at elevationtime.com. Go get that course. So telomeres have a lot to do with what information is being sent to our DNA and back and forth between the cells in the entire body. Right now, a lot of things that we've been involved with is causing the telomeres to break off, so people don't live as long. And even if they're living, they're not living the life they could be living because they're basically dying inside, because they're not aware of how everything connects. Well, guess what? The sun, Sirius, and the earth at this particular time is attempting to rejuvenate your telomeres. So all we need to know is, how do we rejuvenate our telomeres even better? Check this out. Telomeres have the potential to lengthen to the degree which we choose to change how we live, how we think. We have the ability to have less illness and longer lives with a quality of living that allows for thriving and not just mere surviving. By taking into account the effects of our diets, lifestyle, and choices, and our social support, exercise, and stress management, we can slow the aging process and embrace youthfulness in mind, body, and spirit. Toxic food, chronic depression, stress, anxiety, and prolonged grief shorten the telomeres. By detoxifying the body and the mind, we make healthier food choices. While making healthier food choices, telomeres have been known to lengthen, which increases life expectancy. This is what the product Platinum is all about. Platinum Life Monatomic Elixir. The Platinum Life Monatomic Elixir. This product is great for rejuvenating the pineal, to help protect us from our environment, to help reduce heavy metals, but even more, to repair telomeres. Somebody is saying, let me do this right now while we're looking at that. You guys look at that, and I'm going to do something because folks are saying, well, do you have a discount code? Yes, we do. And I'm going to make sure that it's in here correctly. So just hold on one second. Be patient. Okay, the discount code is going to be Fireworks. And what's today? They say today is the 5th. Good. So we're creating a discount code of 10% off if you'd like to try this and any other products. I am going to make sure that I put this in correctly. Fireworks. Save. Beautiful. So the discount code at the website is Fireworks. Fireworks. Should receive 10% off of everything in your cart, $99 or over. So if you spend more than $99, everything is 10% off. And that's good until Sunday at midnight. Sunday at midnight. This particular product, it was a different product at one point. And then Dick Gregory asked us to add some things to it to make it even better for him, because it was a product that we made for him to help energize him, to keep him focused. And that's why we call this the Platinum Life Monatomic Elixir Gregory Reserve. It's for telomere repair, anti-aging, energizing, heavy metal detox, environmental protection, pineal activation, peak performance, increased life expectancy, and mood lifting. Now, by taking this particular product at this time or any time, it's going to energize and send more light codes through your body. This is based on light. It's very dark. It has gold. A lot of people talking about the monatomic gold. It has the gold, monatomic platinum, iridium, palladium, copper, and all the monatomic elements that actually are known as ormus. These are M state elements. And also it has humic acid, fulvic acid, and some herbs that a lot of folks have never even heard of or heard of using in this way, which helps connect you to yourself. My partner and I, many years ago, came up with this because we realized we were working overtime, making herbal products. We were in the lab all the time. We had clients, and we were just getting burned out. We said, we need something for us that energizes us and keeps that pineal, pumping. It keeps it, because you got to pump, you got to put pressure on your pineal. If you don't put pressure on your pineal, then it can't put out the light. It's actually it's a light cell. You see, piezoelectricity is when you take certain crystals and put pressure on them and they put out light. Your pineal is a piezo or piezoelectric crystal. So you have to put pressure on it. And there's ways to put pressure on it. We're not going to get into that today, but this helps your pineal rejuvenate itself. And it does help the flow of energy up and down your spine. That helps to put pressure on your pineal. Why do you need your pineal to be on? Because you need to know. You need to know how to know when and when to know how. When to be quiet, when to talk. You need to have that insight, right? From your outsights, what you see out there, you need to know how to determine if that is an event on the horizon that I need to be involved with or not. By becoming more selective, by being more clear, by being able to hear without listening through your ears, just knowing. That's what that pineal is all about intuition. I just kind of know. I think it's time to leave. Or I think it's time to move. If you're looking at, your business, how to make your business boom, how to have the best love life, how to focus your energy on your areas that are, a lot of us are going through illnesses and pains, and we have struggles and challenges right now. But if you could put your mind on it and put light on it with your mind and begin to clear that energy and begin to focus that energy, you could change your health with your mind. Are you aware of your mind has powerful? That is, your mind is the first medicine. Mind is the first medicine. Your mind is the first medicine. But you got to also mind your business. Otherwise, you are entertaining and giving medicine to others, and you end up with what? Poison. Your mind is the first medicine. What you think, what you say, your perceptions, and these thoughts and judgments. You got to be very careful. And try to, every day to focus on what could be good in this day instead of all the problems. Don't turn on the news because they lie. Have they ever told you the whole truth? Have they ever? That's not what's happening. What's happening is what's right in front of us. So platinum helps us to focus on what's best for us. This gets you in peak performance, whether it's for sports. A lot of sports people take this because they can do their thing more. You have more energy to do whatever you're here to do. So my partner and I, we started playing with these monatomic elements. We started playing with humic acid and fulvic acid and these special herbs. There's one called gynostemma, which is also called 5-leaf. And oh my gosh, everything changed. We had more energy. We were more focused. We had more ideas. We had more time to play. We weren't so tired. And we realized that this also helps the third chakra, because anything you do to your brain connects directly to your gut, because your gut brain and your cranial brain are connected. So you can eat all the best foods in the world and have garbage thoughts and toxic thoughts. What good is it? So this begins to connect the brain, the pineal, the glands in your head, and your gut. This is the Platinum Life Elixir. This, for many years now, has been one of our number one products that folks choose all over the world to help have a huge change in their life. And lastly, it has Blue Lotus. Look up Blue Lotus. Whoo! That's one of those things at this particular time when when the Nile began to flood, those Blue Lotus flowers would pop up. Blue Lotus has to do with taking you into another dimension. It takes you out of yourself and helps to project you through the universe based on your goals, based on your desires, based on your will. This medicine, right? This is one of those plant teachers that helps to teach you how to be a better you. So platinum has the Blue Lotus in it to help you become a better you. This is a good time to do it because if you're taking it now at this particular season throughout the summer, you're energizing yourself, your third chakra, and your body with new goals. This will help you with your goals. I just mentioned minding your business and businessing your mind. It's important. These are some things that you can do during this alignment activity. Grounding, which is walking with your shoes or just standing on the ground with your shoes off, or laying on the ground, but your skin touching the ground. If you could lay totally naked on the ground, depending on where you are, this is an amazing thing right now because you're being recharged at a quantum rate. Walking, which is moving all the energy of your body. Walking is one of the greatest exercises ever. Just walking. Meditating is good right about now. Deep breathing exercise. If you just do the simple one, in through the nose, really deep, breathe in, hold it for a second, and then breathe out through the mouth like you're whistling. Just keep doing that repetitiously. And all of a sudden, your subconscious kicks in and says, okay, let's clear out some of this trash. Let's focus on the new recording that the captain is playing. Now hear this. That's what that breathing does. Says, now hear this. This is the captain. Today we're going to be blah, 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 blah. And you are giving commands to every part of your body. Deep breathing exercises. Write your goals down. Think in ink. Just don't have them and don't just write them and type them into a computer or some software. Write them down with a pencil, a pen on paper, because now it's kinesthetic, auditory, and visual. We talk about that in many of our classes. Why does it need to be kinesthetic, auditory, and visual? Why did they take handwriting and all that out of schools? Why? You can say what they took, but you could have kept doing it. Scripting, writing, your signature, a sign of your nature. We got to still do those things if we would like to keep our wholeness whole. Otherwise, we become divided from ourselves, from our minds. Let go of the disagreeable past. I talked about that earlier. Speak 80% of your time, speak of solutions. Only let 20% of the problems come into your brain. That's a challenge within itself. Go play. Go to the playground. Go get on the swings. Run, jump. Go have some fun again, because then you tell the inner child to come online. Clean your house. Clean your house. Clean your mental, physical, and spiritual house. Let some of this trash go. We've been hoarding information. They used to have the show about hoarding, right? But there's mental hoarding. There's spiritual hoarding. There's emotional hoarding. How are you hoarding? Let's let some go. Get organized. Start setting up a system, right? Start setting up systems. Start one thing at a time and create a rhythm. Eat lots of watermelon with the seeds if you can get it. Now, if you can't, just put your hands over it and imagine it's got seeds. Don't say, I can't eat it if it don't have seeds. Listen, it's all energy. It would be best if it have seeds, but if it don't have seeds, go on and eat it, because that water is rejuvenating you. And there are things in the watermelon, even in the rind, that are helping to clean out your blood vessels. Walk in the rain if it's raining. Don't run in. Oh my God, it's raining. I'm like, oh, what are you, the wicked witch? Rain's gonna melt you. Rain is helping to rejuvenate you. Now, their first rain, I would be careful. When it rains for the first 15 minutes, that's washing toxins out of the air. So wait maybe 15 minutes and then go run in the rain. Run naked in the rain, or just let the rain touch your hair and your body. Why are we so scared of water? Detox. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Lay in the sun. Listen to music tuned to 432 hertz. Dr. B's medicine music. Right now, over on YouTube, right now, there's the Sonic Immersion 3 introspection. Why did we just put it out within the last couple of days? We put it out when the sun, Sirius, and the earth was in alignment. And some of y'all knew, oh my gosh, this is science. We're not just releasing things just to release them. We're putting them out in tandem, in rhythm, in sequence with what's happening as what? In the nature. What is something that can help our lives? So listening to the music like that is going to help you tune you in to yourself. Get organized, right? We just talked about that briefly. Ducks symbolize, get your ducks in a row. Time to get all your ducks in a row. This is powerful. You know, they sell these little ducks everywhere, but just the symbol of them having, moving in a row is powerful. Ducks symbolize strength, courage, transformation, resilience, the power to overcome obstacles, the ability to see a situation from many angles by exercising flexibility and adaptability. The spirit of the duck teaches us to develop patience and quietude in an otherwise turbulent world. Will that be helpful right now? Yes, it is. What you see is what you get. What you focus on expands. Keep your mind's eye on your goals. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you achieve it. What are you wanting? What you speak on and focus on, you're telling yourself, I want that. I desire that. So let's focus on what you truly desire, devoid of the things that you don't truly desire or you in no way desire. So let's speak less on that stuff and speak less on the problems of the world and focus on what's going on in your world, in your family, in your garden of your life. Is this good or is this good? Here's a good mantra that you could use during this particular season. I allow myself to be authentic and whole while helping others do the same. I allow myself to be authentic and whole while helping others do the same. I allow myself to be authentic and whole while helping others do the same. Great mantra during this time. So these are things that we're going to do at this time, starting today. Some people say, well, it's the 9th. I got to do it by the 9th. No, this is basically a whole sequence that begins to open what we call the Lion's Gate. The Lion's Gate is powerful. It goes all the way to 8/8. You know what I'm saying? That's August. Is that 8? Is it August? Yes, it gets funny with the numbers of the month because anyway, yeah. 8/8 is the Lion's Gate. Go study that. But this is the opening of the Lion's Gate. You see, this is the time when we should roar and use that raw energy to move things. The sun is moving us. The sun is now charged with the Sirius energy from our spiritual sun. It is charged. It is charging us. And we're being charged to do something new, start something new, and allow ourselves to be more authentic, whole, while helping others do the same. Every cell in your body is eavesdropping on your thoughts. Every cell in your body is eavesdropping on your thoughts. It is powerful when you start focusing your thoughts on what you desire. Seasonal detoxification of the body and mind is essential. Seasonal detoxification of the body and mind is essential. If your body is toxic, you could do all the positive thinking and all the meditation and all the mantras and do all of that. But your body can't hold on to it. So the issue is in your tissues. So we've got to clean this stuff out of the tissues. And this is a great time to do a detoxification program that goes deep. We're just not talking about a colon cleanse. We're not talking about just parasites that live in your colon. We're not talking about just that. We're talking about the ones that are systemic, that live in your brain and all parts of your body. Since symptoms of parasites: low energy, depression, anger, negative thinking, cancer, heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, menstrual problems, vaginal infections, sexual dysfunctions, over and underweight, drooling while sleeping, itching ears, eyes, nose, and body. Grinding. Did I say that right? Itching ears, nose, anus, and body. We should have put the eyes in there. Grinding of the teeth, gas and bloating, chronic fatigue syndrome, pain in the joints, allergies, fatigue, insomnia, food and drug cravings, rash and pimples, things floating by the eyes, epilepsy, liver problems, loss of appetite, always feeling hungry, unclear vision. These are symptoms of systemic parasites. Some folks say, but wait a minute. That's a big list, Dr. B. No, this is the short list. Did you know that almost every illness that modern man has originated from animals? Did you know this? They're called zoonotic diseases. They came from animals. They originated in animals. So there are parasites and bacteria and things that live in animals that's natural to them. And they've got an immune system that deals with it. But for some reason, we began to live with the animals. Folks began to sleep with the animals and traveled on boats from other countries down in the hull of the boat, trying to get away from whatever was going on in their country. So they traveled for months down in the whole hell of a boat with animals. And this creates disease in humans because our immune system is not made to deal with those particular zoonotic diseases. Did you also know that most of the diseases that we have are based in parasites? And I know you're starting to see this more and more on the internet. It's all coming out now. That even tumors, they're cutting open tumors and finding out that tumors are filled with parasite cysts, parasites eggs, whole communities of parasites living in the cyst, because the cyst or the tumor a lot of times is what it is doing is collecting all the toxins from your life into it. It's attempting to save your life. The tumor is attempting to save you. Because if not, this stuff would hit your system right away and you'd be gone. So it's giving you time to eat right, think right, and begin to break down these toxic materials in your body. Everybody has them. A lot of folks say, well, Dr. B, I don't have no parasites because I eat kale. I'm on a kale diet. I eat kale 24/7. Listen to me. You could eat the best food in the world, whatever that might be. And you're still going to have parasites because you're breathing this air. There's parasites in the air. There's parasites in dust. Even the earth, there's parasites, doorknobs. And how many of you use public bathrooms? It's in the air. You can smell it. That smell is the smell of parasites. Parasites are things that live in or on a being and use it as a host. A lot of what's happening with us is we are full of parasites. The ones we got from animals, the ones we got from food, even your best food, your best veggie meal is not going to protect you from parasites. It's the seasonal detoxification of systemic parasites that creates wealth, health, vision, focus, cleans out the liver, the third chakra, all your chakras. And also, if you've got the right program, it will even help get rid of some of your spiritual toxicity, energetic toxicity, just by cleaning up your act. Are you ready to clean up your act? Because we have found that when folks do a serious detox, they change. Everything changes. Because we've been carrying cargo and toxins for a long time that's been eating us alive. And I'm asked this question often. Dr. B, what is the difference between A average parasite cleanse, which is lots of them, which are basically for the colon. You know, they've got cloves and wormwood, and they've got sage, and there's diatomaceous earth, there's pumpkin seeds, pomegranate seeds. There's many things that can clean these parasites out of the colon, and that's good, and it works. We found in our research that after 1996, that the most serious parasites are the systemic ones. They live throughout the system. They're not just in your colon. If you've got floaters in your eyes, these little squiggly lines, look at them. You see them moving and swimming and navigating. They're just not like just dead tissue. Those are parasites for some of us. They can live in every part of the body. There's liver flukes that just live in the liver. They gravitate towards the liver and affect the functioning of the liver. There's parasites that live in the thyroid and the thymus. The thymus is your master immune cells. I mean, it's your master immune center. Did you know that? Your thymus right in the center of your chest, or just below your throat? The thymus. And if you're using any alcohol, even on your skin, if you're using any of these microplastics and chemicals in your body, if you're using any benzene is in so many cleaners and so many solvents. Look up benzene. The minute you got benzene, if you smell benzene, your thyroid function drops almost to zero. And I don't want to be so scientific. Let's just say it drops very low. The minute you have benzene in your system and your thyroid vibration changes, the fluke worm, which normally lives in the digestive tract, that comes from eating animals, and even if you don't eat them today, you ate them back in the day, and they still are living in a dormant space inside your digestive tract. These flatworms swim from your digestive tract through the blood, through the lymph, to your thymus gland. They move in. In fact, they move into any organ which vibration is not harmonious. When they move into the thymus gland, they begin to shut down your immune system. The average American has an immune system that is not working correctly at all. First of all, stress and all of those emotions that that we talked about we were talking about the third chakra. A lot of those disagreeable emotions actually inhibits your immune system. Your immune system only works when you're thinking in a very productive way, when you're living more in joy and you're having more pleasure. And 80% of the time, you're talking about what's good. Now, 20% of the time, okay, what's bad, but only 20%, shut up after that. But what happens is your thymus gland is affected by what you're saying. It's right next. It's part of the fifth chakra, which is your throat, which is your expression. So now you got the way you're talking, which is like a parasite, if it's disagreeable. Then you've got benzene in your system, which is affecting your thymus and your liver and all your glands. But let's just talk about the thymus now. Then here comes the fluke worms. Fluke worms shut down your immune system. The average American is shut down because of what environment we're creating in our body. And fluke worms love it. Now, if you think that those regular parasite cleanses that most people have are going to shut down the fluke worm, this is a super bug. Look up the fluke worm. Look at what they look like. Look at their little eyes on them things. It's got little hairs of these receptors on their body, and they all connect as a system. It's like they live in a hive. They attack. Then we got whipworms. Have y'all heard of whipworm? That whips inside your intestine and makes it bleed and puts this substance on the wall of your intestines, which gets into your blood. And then what happens is that gets into your blood and affects your entire body. Whipworm. Hookworm is drinking most of our blood. A lot of us have iron deficiencies because of hookworm. I could go on and on about these parasites. and how we've been marketed into believing that our simple, turpentine and sugar and all those things are going to deal with systemic parasites. They don't. They do deal with colon parasites. So our thymus gland is affected by chemicals like benzene and alcohol, all kinds of alcohol. Our thyroid, which is the master, hormonal gland, is affected by these things. Your thyroid, all the blood in your body has to pass through your thyroid. Most people's thyroid is full of parasites and parasite eggs. And remember, the parasites are pooping, peeing, and leaving toxins in your blood, in your body, in every organ, not just the colon. Clean the colon. Now, I'm not saying don't clean your colon, but do something that's systemic. So this program that we created is for systemic parasites. And because it's not just herbs, because herbs alone cannot do this. It takes herbs, flower essences, essential oils, vibrations. We also have to use a special type of water. We actually, we get this special water, and you take distilled water and you can program distilled water and make it become balanced and crystallized. And then we also use these minerals from the Great Barrier Reef, which is one of the most, what do you call it? Pristine waters in the world, in the Great Barrier Reef. We get these minerals from there. And we use that in all of our, herbal formulations, our tonics and, elixirs. But in order to get rid of this group of parasites, we also have to do this system of what we call electrolysis on the products. And we use light. There's a special light that we use. A lot of you have seen it. You used it yourself. We have it on the website. I think we have one left. The quantum light. We put light on the products, and that we find it energizes these products so that now they are dealing with changing the frequency of the entire body. You have to change the frequency of the blood. And it's a 28-day program. You can't just do this because, you heard you could do it in a weekend. No, 28 days is the sequence that they mate, they eat, they hang out, they go to Parasite Church, they read their Bible. These people are on it, these beings. They've been here 2.5 billion years, and it's challenging to eradicate them from the body. But we have a program that has been proven to be very effective for dealing with parasites at this level. So what this is you're seeing is the Total Body Paracleanse program. And it deals with systemic parasite eradication, detoxification at a cellular level, increase energy and vitality, boost immune system, weight reduction, and improve digestion, clear thought, peace of mind, and enhances overall wellness. Then we realized that there was another group of parasites called superbugs. A lot of them were made as biochemical warfare, weaponized bugs used all over the world for war. Even in communities, they dropped them from helicopters, from chemtrails, and all of this. These are the super, super, super bugs that the average parasite cleanser is not going to touch at all. Not even one that deals with systemic parasites, because some of these are smart bugs. Okay. So there's like anthrax and a whole group of other things that were dropped and created for warfare, just like they put Agent Orange on people. This is biological warfare. They even have what they call I can't even think of the name of it. They've created bugs that just deal with certain ethnic groups, that affect certain ethnic groups and break them down. Did you know this? Ethnospecific parasites, ethnospecific bacteria. Look that up. They were made for war, but that stuff gets up into the water table. You can't spray something on one group of people in Vietnam and don't think that that's not going to evaporate up into the clouds and rain on us in Atlanta or Utah or Connecticut or New York or Canada. We've got it. It's all on us all. So we created something to help deal with that level of parasites. So this is the elevated total body program. It deals with systemic parasites, detoxification at a cellular level, just like the other one, but it deals with toxoplasma and superbugs. Now, let me tell you about that toxoplasma really quickly. It's called the mind control parasite. They say up to 70% of the people on the planet have toxoplasma. It controls your emotions. It has you feeling a way about things that's not your normal way. You know, it's making people react and act differently. It's creating a type of schizophrenia in people. Look up the definition of schizophrenia. And one of the symptoms of toxoplasma is schizophrenia. Thinking you know about something you don't really know, speaking on things and believing in things that may not even be truthful or factual, and you haven't done the research. You're just all caught up in your emotions. That's a type of schizophrenia. Look up the word. Toxoplasma, this particular parasite, lives in the amygdala, which has a lot to do with your emotions. It's connected to the limbic system, and it helps to deal with a balanced way of thinking when it is healthy. But if it has been taken over by toxoplasma, we're acting and reacting out of emotion. We believe in all this stuff that they keep telling us. That's not natural. It keeps us out of being connected to ourselves. 70% of the people have toxoplasma. I don't care how you're eating and how you're living and how many meditations you do. Somebody's saying, what's the difference between the 199 cleanse and the 374? I'm breaking it down right now. Just listen carefully. The 199 or the total body program is dealing with systemic parasites. The bigger program, the elevated total body, is dealing more with superbugs and the regular parasites, but superbugs like toxoplasma and a whole lot of other things that are in the system that I can't say on the air because I don't need the black helicopters or the new invisible ones to come get me or the drones to drop something on me. So we're not going to mention that here publicly. But it also deals with spiritual and energetic parasites. How do you do that, Doc? I was taken once, and information came to me. I shouldn't say once. There's many times and a lot of us have been taken, and information has been downloaded into us. And I realized that there was a group of plants and minerals and flower essences that could help us deal with spiritual parasites that are sucking us dry. Even though you might say, oh boy, you know, I'm conscious and I do this meditation, even some of that, right, has you moving in a direction that's not the best for you independently. You're just going along with some stuff you read about, and you got the singing bowl and you got the sage and you got all the trappings. But to really be able to operate this, you have to operate outside of the system. And to get outside of the system, you got to get rid of these spiritual parasites that may have been in your family, in your neighborhood, energetic parasites that are sucking you dry. I talked about this on my last talk, where they say that there's these beings called the soul catchers on the dark side of the moon that actually are controlling this whole quadrant of space, creating slavery on many levels. Now, some people would call that the devil. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure. Look up Wetiko, Wetiko. It's a being or a energy or a disease or a virus. They don't really know, but it takes over most societies and has caused almost every society that has crashed to crash. Right now, they're saying that we are under the spell of Wetiko, and the physical side of Wetiko is toxoplasma, a parasite that started in cats, but it's moved past cats. So don't just blame the cats and say, I'm getting rid of my cat. It's in most food. It's in the air. It's in most people, which gets people to agree to all do something that works against them. Self-harm. They tell you to get in line and, you know, get jabbed up and do this and believe that. And guess what you do? Because of fear. Because toxoplasma creates fear. Fear of doing better. The fear of being successful. So this program is different than the regular program because it goes much deeper, because it has a special group of mushrooms, which can actually now begin to look for DNA that's not yours. Look for vibratory rates in your body that are not natural. Mushrooms themselves, there's a group of 11 of them. It's a special combination that's in the mushroom tonic. And you also need high doses of vitamin C because we don't make vitamin C. All that comes in the elevated program. If you took all the products in here and you added them up, it would be a lot more than $374, but you get a package price for that. Okay. If you'd like to invest in yourself. And once again, somebody's asking me, what is the discount code? Okay, let's show it. The discount code is fireworks. And that discount code will work until Sunday at midnight. But for those of you who become members at the Elevation website, if you join as a membership, you get automatic 10% off of everything, almost everything. And, whenever you see the price, your price is always going to be 10% less. Then you could add this code up until Sunday at midnight. And now as a member, you can get 20% off if that's your, desire. I'm going to move pretty quickly because we're about to wind it up. Processed sugar inhibits brain function. It disrupts the gut bacteria. It feeds parasite fungi, aka yeast. If you're craving a lot of sugar, processed sugar, that's another symptom of parasites. It's also a symptom of yeast or fungus in your body. And this also shuts your brain down. We'll talk about that in other. I have that in a lot of my other talks where we talk about how sugar shuts down proper brain functioning. So during this time, while we're becoming independent, let's alleviate processed sugar. You can use fruit sugars. You can use the natural sugars like coconut sugar. I just had a new one called Yakan. I just put that in my food last night. In fact, I made a pie last night. I wanted a little, celebrative pie. Celebrative. So I made it with Yakan syrup. Yakan. Your body can't digest it. It tastes really sweet. It's a syrup. It's amazing, but your body uses it as the friendly bacteria. It has lots of fiber, and fiber is important to help sweep some of the sugar out of your system and help your gut bacteria work better. Okay, that's what they call a prebiotic. And there's many foods that are basically prebiotics. Eat natural foods that grow in the season you're in. Vegetables in season now: radishes, arugula, cucumber, beets, bell peppers. And back to arugula. Arugula is really good for helping to rejuvenate your nervous system. Arugula. Beets, bell peppers, carrots, zucchini, garlic, corn, rhubarb. Fruits in season now: apricots, plums, cherries, blackberries, nectarines, strawberries, peaches, tomatoes. Make sure you take your skin and the seeds out of tomatoes. Take the skin and the seed out of your tomatoes. You can look online to see how to do it. That's the way it's been traditionally. The skin and the seed of the tomato is not good. It actually shuts down digestion. You see, it creates something called lectins. So be careful. Passion fruit, melons, lemons, limes, and watermelon. Check out iHeart Fruit Box. A friend of ours, Dr. What's his name? I can't remember my friend's name right now. Dr. Price. He has a place in Florida now, iHeart Fruit Box. They will send you some of these fruits that grow in the Caribbean and fruit that grows around the equator. Amazing fruits that will help change your life and rejuvenate you for the summer months. iHeart Fruit Box. Heaven on earth, y'all. Heaven on earth. Where's my heaven on earth? Heaven on earth is for your nervous system. Right now, your nervous system is ready to receive a new signal. Don't do that at home. Do what it says. 3 to 6 dropperfuls to rejuvenate your nervous system, because your nervous system is running the show. Heaven on earth helps to balance your nervous system. This amazing product has been traditionally used for anxiety, stress, mood enhancement, nervous system balancing, muscle spasms, pain, relaxation. Is great for meditation and focus. It has also been successfully used for pain of the central nervous system, healing, heart, thyroid tonic, muscle spasms, relaxation, great for meditation. This product is energizing and typically does not cause drowsiness. Imagine that. You're calm, but you're not sleepy. And stuff just doesn't affect you the same because your nervous system feels warm and cozy and you feel sure of yourself. This also can help your third chakra, your solar plexus, because when you're calm, you can receive more light. Did you know that if you're not calm and if you're angry and you're upset and you're going through stress, your body repels light because it all squeezes down. Everybody condenses because the body's in fight or flight. You're pumping cortisol and cortisol and adrenaline into the system, which just because you're stressed, the body doesn't know what the problem is. It says maybe there's a saber-toothed frog after us, or gigantic, mosquito rats are after us, or some fearful thing. It's terrible out there in the environment. So the body automatically goes into fight or flight because it doesn't know what the problem is, and it puts acid in the blood, and your blood becomes acidic to try to protect you from this thing out there that may not even be out there. It's just in your mind. Heaven on earth. It does exactly what it says. It creates heaven in your earth. This will calm you down like nothing you've ever had, and you'll be focused and clear. Heaven on earth. I don't want to talk about the light right now. That is the light. For those of you who would like to we have one light left on the website. This wasn't supposed to be in here, but that's the light that we use to energize the herbs. It also brings up the energy of anything you shine on it. I'm not going to talk about that today. There's one left on the website, and a lot of folks love those. We had them this past weekend, and almost all of them sold because people, when they feel that light, and this is the type of light that we are talking about right now, the light that rejuvenates us. And lastly, we are now offering at Elevation select products by the case. Quantity discounts will allow you to offer Dr. B's natural solutions to friends, families, associates, clients, and your team. Here's a way to build community, follow your passion, and earn some additional income while assisting others on their wellness journey. Wow. How would you like to have these products available to sell to others, to offer to others, or to have a group cleanse or detoxification program for everyone in your group? You receive 30% off by getting 12 of a case of any product. Mainly, we have select products on the website right now at elevationtime.com. So it's Heaven on Earth is one, the Platinum is another one, and the Cleanse. Imagine having a cleanse party. Remember how they used to do back in the day? They had, certain products that they would sell, and you'd go to somebody's house and sit down and they would talk about the product, and, everybody would cleanse together or use the product together and became families and groups and community. We're back at that time where we got to create community again. We can't wait for it to be created. We've got to create it. Create a collective, a cleansing collective together. That camaraderie, that thing, that vibration that happens when we're all doing this together. We notice that we have a lot of people in our group that have businesses. We got barbers and hairdressers and folks that are sales managers with groups and people with their own companies. I remember years ago, there was a comedian. Can I say his name? No, we'll see. There was a comedian that would have me come to CBS. He had a television show, and he would offer everybody on his show had to do the cleanse, the whole team. So he would buy like a case of the cleanses because he didn't want anybody on his team who wasn't cleansing and detoxifying, so they could be clear and focused and more productive. Okay. His name is Sinbad, Brother Sinbad. I was the herbalist for the Sinbad show many years ago when he had a show at CBS. I used to go there every week and offer herbs and cleansing and detoxification for the entire crew. He was on and hitting it hard. In fact, it got so deep that suddenly, because he would mention some of this on his show, They pulled the show because he wasn't just being a clown. He was using comedy to give information about how to live the best life we can live. Yes. Yes. So if you would like to get into group cleansing, offer it to a family or a group, if you would like to sell these products without having to get a wholesale license and all that, we're going to offer a special price when you buy in bulk in groups of 12 on special select products. So go to elevationtime.com. elevationtime.com. Okay. So once again, I'm going to put up the discount code, which is good until Sunday. And keep in mind, thoughts are prayers. Your destiny is your desire. Think about your desires, what you're desiring. Do you know that becomes your destiny? And what you're saying becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, especially if you're saying it over and over and over and over. Because the best way to program and reprogram your subconscious is through the repetition of pain or pleasure. So be careful what phrases you're using over and over to talk about yourself and the world and other people, because the subconscious can't differentiate between you and the outside world. So it thinks you're talking to yourself. When you talk about other people pointing that finger, there's 3 pointing back at you. You're talking to yourself. When you think you cussed somebody out, you just cussed yourself out. Leave people alone. Be yourself. Get back into yourself. Rejuvenate your garden. Never mind what's growing in somebody else's garden. Where's your garden? So be careful of talking about what people do. You don't even know people. Well, most people in the world, you don't know most people in the world. You don't even know yourself that well, because the people you know are changing constantly. You let the news and the internet and artificial intelligence and all this tell you what's going on in the world. You let them tell you how many people there is on the planet. Oh, there's 8 billion people in the world. It seems like there's always been 8 billion people on the planet. Where'd they come up with this number? Did y'all let them know you was here? Some people don't even, some folks, they don't even know you here. You didn't do the census. Some folks, they never had taxes. They know how to do a write-off. I mean, some folks live in the trust in themselves. You can't count everybody. We don't know what's going on with people. So you talking about what people do and what people believe and what this is and what that is. Guy told me, well, I'm a Christian. I said, well, which one? He said, what do you mean? I'm Christian. I don't know what that means. I'm spiritual. What does that mean that you're spiritual? I'm conscious. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Everybody's conscious if you're awake. What does that mean? So we jump to a conclusion, and then we have these illusions of what that means and these delusions of these things. We become what the children say, they call it delulu. You need to get into you and do some new you and do some voodoo on you. Do some magic and create magic in your mind by focusing your mind on what you would like to achieve in life. Focus on what you would like to achieve. And even though the wind may blow, even though storms may come, even though you'll have challenges and you may fall back and you may fall under and you may be pushed down, just remember that everything is connected to its opposite. And if everything is connected to its opposite, then guess what? Everything is happening all at one time. If everything is happening at one time, then guess what? There's plus and minus. You see, some people, they want to be good, but bad still got them. Some people want to be rich, but broke still got them. Some people want to be conscious, but subconscious still got them. You got to break the spell within yourself. And when you break that spell within yourself, you take power. This is the particular time when the sun, the earth, and the Sirius is all lined up for you to take your personal power back. Or maybe you never had it. Gain it. Get out there and grind up some of that stuff that you no longer desire. Eat right, not for your blood type, but for your people type, for your mindset. Stop going along with all these trends about you got to do this and you got to do that. The guy told me the other day you had to be vegan to be conscious. Really? Where are you getting this from? All these beliefs. See, the problem for a lot of us is we have so many ideas about the way things should be. We become philosophical, and some of this philosophical stuff is what divides us. Let's be in oneness. Let's do our part. Do your part. Be yourself. Be your best self. Be your best self. And there is no perfection, so stop trying to be perfect. Just do your best. And if you're minding other people's business, that's either something because it's your business and you're getting paid, or that's your direct family and you're trying to help your direct family be healthier. But never mind the rest of the world and what you think is going on, because it's not. That's just what they told you. Women are always like this. That's not true how women are. Men are like this. Black people are like this. Asians always. White people, it's all a lie to keep you diffused and confused and reduced in yourself. Be your best self. Be like the trees. Be like nature, always changing and growing and rejuvenating and expressing yourself in new ways. Start today. Get out there on the naked earth and let the Sirius sun, earth connection rejuvenate your solar plexus starting now. I would like to thank you all for being here at this particular time to share with us. And you can share this video. It will be up on YouTube. I'd like to thank the Elevation staff and the extended family. We have folks that help here at Elevation that are not a direct part of Elevation, but they assist in many ways. And if you've got something to offer, then, you may want to, send us an email and say, hey, look, I got something to offer that can help. Some folks talking about Dr. B, you need the doctor. What are you asking to help, or you just want to talk me down? We are not perfect. I am in no way perfect. Neither are we. There is no perfection. So much love to you all. And remember, your best self is still waiting to happen. We must elevate ourselves. We at Elevation are about change and growth, and we're going through change and growth, which is now we're offering you a place where you can offer these products that we have here, buy them in bulk and start your own business. And we'll help you do that if that's what you desire. For those of you who would like to bring the core access experience to your town, to your group, then let's talk. Send us a message at sales@elevationtime.com. Sales@elevationtime.com. Can somebody put that in the chat? Sales@elevationtime.com. That's how you get in touch with us. But we would love to come to your city, and do this process, and also bring more love, peace, and harmony, and do our part to help make this a more complete place for each of us who are ready to awaken into ourselves. That's what we got to awaken into ourselves. Introspection. Look into yourself first. Feed yourself first. Rejuvenate yourself first. Put yourself first. Then you can help others. Thank you very much. Make sure you're on the email list at elevationtime.com. And I'd like to thank all of you for investing this time today. And we're going to leave you with something. What we're going to leave with right now. Let's play Selah. This is a project which we're working on soon, which is coming up soon. And this brother Selah, he says it all. And, I played the percussion and he did this piece, and oh my gosh, this is powerful. So remember to think twice. It's blasphemy. Go with your gut. Go with your gut. Every moment is powerful. And that moment could be a missed second. And second could be a missed moment if you don't tap in to who you are now. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you all soon.
Yes, Great Mother, thou hast patiently protected my purpose. Difficult this path of perfection. Indeed, the dead shall not know this glory. greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. The desert of my soul has been drenched by the waters of life, liberated from labels, lacking no thing. This is the way of wisdom, the testament of tears, formed in the bowels of becoming, bringing forth the fruit of freedom. Bind not the beloved with busyness nor boredom. Rest is the reward of the Lord. Victory is assured to those that endure the depths of indecision. With perfect vision, pierce the veil of illusion, vanquish the villains of virtue, heal heaven's broken heart. Thou art imperishable, everlasting isness, nameless, blameless, purity personified. Be not tied to sensation, temptation, nor desire the temporal fires that burn your blessings. Shake till you wake, take your place amongst the luminous race, wrapped in royal radiance, transcending beginnings and endings, firmly rooted in the love above. Time is the enemy. Seconds are missed moments. Seconds are missed moments. Seconds are missed moments. We are inspired by shadows, moving by images, wildly wiggling our way through wonderland. Thou shalt not want. It is the perceived condition of lack that brings forth desire. Desire wants to fill its emptiness. Obviously, where is that emptiness? Where is that problem that takes your attention, consuming your moments? These are tricks of the brain trained to defend its temporariness. A jealous God demanding the allegiance of my members. It remembers what me forgot. It is and is not a nebulous nuisance needing more. Always. When one attempts to mature in consciousness through a fear-based perceptual lens, limiting beliefs in self will systematically sabotage the soul's ascension towards the freedom of knowing. Knowing demands surrender. Surrender befriends compassion. Compassion is the doorway to divine thought. Divine thought actualizes itself as pure potential. This omnipotent guiding force attempts to navigate its dualistic expression through socially enforced insecurities, creating antichrist archetypes that ultimately destroy the natural evolutionary process. Man does indeed possess the spark. It is unfortunately masked in the mystery that mesmerizes minds, confines men to mere mortality, a finite fallacy that feeds on fear. Fast from your past, fan the flames of fruition, finish your mission, listen to the babies, smell the daisies, birth yes from maybes, free yourself of yourself. Everything else is fake. Fear's an illusion, confusion is choosing when there's no choice. The voice heard first is Christ, so to think twice is blasphemy. For those with souls that see and hearts that hear, well, it's always now. Wow.